So how's it going, everyone? So what am I working on now? I got a 2017 Ford Fusion Titanium, and it has unknown mileage, 120,100. And it got towed in because it won't shift, but it also has other codes in it. Apparently, I haven't checked yet. I got my scanner hooked up, but I haven't checked anything. But this is one of those rotary dial shifter things, which all the new cars are going to it. I can't stand it. It's not just Ford. You know, Chrysler does it too, and then GM has their own version. It's just I can't stand all the electric shifters nowadays. Just don't like the feel of them. I like to have a physical shifter in the car. Can't get that anymore, it seems. So let's see what's going on here. Now, first off, this thing is sitting with the parking light flashing, and it tells you, it came up and said that if there's an issue, make sure the vehicle has the brake on. So let me show you what I got. So here's the cluster, and here's the shifter. Now, if I try to shift it, it'll flash reverse, and then that comes up. Shift system fault. Service required. But as you shift it, I shifted it to drive. You see, the light will flash. It'll go to neutral. It'll go to reverse. It'll go into park and then flash. Alright, so let's do a code scan, see what we got here. The reason I'm going to do a code scan is something like this. I mean, it could be, who knows, it could be engine issues, it could be transmission issues, it could be body control issues, it could be chassis issues, who knows. Transmission range control shift cable. Huh, okay. Wondering if this thing actually has an electronically shifted cable. Alright, let me let this load up. I've explained before on this particular scanner, the Snap-on scanner, if I try to scroll down, it's just going to keep bouncing me right back to this screen, so that becomes a pain. So let's let this load up. This could take a couple minutes. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So we got coolant over temperature, not occurring TTC, cylinder 1 misfire. Cool. This is a turbo 2-liter. Misfire in startup. Cool. I think I already know what that is. Transmission range control module shift cable disconnected, misadjusted. Interesting. I'm going to have to look that up because I got no clue. Tranny, engine over temperature, same codes as in the engine. ABS, control module watchdog safety failure, not occurring TTC. Curious what that even means. I have no idea. Invalid data from ECM PCM. Battery voltage, circuit voltage below threshold, not current. Cylinder number 1 misfire. Now see that? If you just had a code reader, a lot of times just a simple code reader would only give you that code. I'm actually just curious on something now. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna record those codes because I got to look up that one code because I really have no idea what it actually means. But before I do that, real quick, I just wrote them down, but I'm gonna clear them. But what I want to do first is switch ignition off. Okay, ignition's off. Continue. Switch ignition back on. And I'm gonna go home. OBD direct, start communication, see, display trouble codes. I want to just see what an actual, yeah, see that? P0301. That's the only code it shows you. So if you had just a little handheld scanner, all it does is read OBD. It doesn't read other codes. So all those other codes are not stored in OBD. So you're missing all those other codes. That's why I tell people Yeah, those little code readers, they're great to have in a car just for like, hey, my check engine light popped on. For diagnostics, they really don't help you all that much. I mean, like I said, good to have. Good to have. It's not something you just don't take and throw it in the garbage. But it's not. You're not going to get the information that you need because it doesn't interrogate the system like a scanner will. Now, yeah, I'm not telling you to go out and buy a $4,000, $5,000 scanner or anything like that. But you've seen other videos I have with hey, that $150 scanner, all the way on up to that new Bluetooth one. That's or not Bluetooth. That scanner that has the Bluetooth tether, so you can actually work remotely with it. And that one's like $500 and change. It turns out. I was unaware of actually what it cost. But anyway, so that's the reason for that. So what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to look up these other codes. I want to find out exactly what they mean. I mean, I know what the over temp and I know what the misfire means, but I'm talking about that shift cable one. That's an odd one. I've never seen that before. So let me go and look that up, and we're going to get back to this. But I'm going to clear the codes too. Okay, so the code did not clear. So I said, let me pop underneath the hood here and take a quick look. And sure enough, it does have a cable that must be driven by a motor. So let me show you real quick. And down here, see it? Popped off the tranny. The grommet itself broke apart and fell out. See it? So I actually have replacement grommets that'll fit certain things, and I would just have to press it in. But what I'm going to need to do is get this thing inside and see what I can do with it. So let me get somebody's help, and then I'll get it inside. Okay, so fixing a shifter may be easier than I even thought originally. I have this kit. It's made up of a bunch of different little Dorman kits that I've used over the years. I just always save the extra pieces. You can buy the bushings. I happen to have one that fit perfectly. And I lifted the thing up and it snapped right in place. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better fit. It snapped in, it was secure, and then I snapped it onto the actual lever itself. But as you see, I keep all the old ones that come out of the kits, because a lot of times the kit just doesn't have one, it has a bunch, like a choice. So I save whatever I can, because you never know when it comes in handy. And this is kind of like an installation tool I made for different size bushings. So I wound up taking the battery tray out, or not the battery tray, the air cleaner housing, so I got to put all of that back in. So let me get that all back together, and then we're going to take this thing for a road test. I want to see if it's got anything misfire related or over temperature related. I'm anticipating that it's going to run and drive when I'm done. I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to. But I just find it funny. It has a shift cable. It has electric shift inside. Why it? Obviously, you got to have a motor to control that. You have to have some kind of a module that controls that. Why not just have a cable? It makes no sense. Plus, I come to find out, if you don't have that thing lined up to reverse, when you put the train in reverse, it'll never go in reverse. Although, the lever will actually be park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then whatever the next selection is, if it's manual drive or whatever. If you're not lined up perfectly as to what it says on that shifter, it will not actually engage a gear. So, why not just have a shifter? It's a waste if you ask me. At least with the Chrysler, I know the Chrysler doesn't have a shifter. It has a lever to release park, and that's it. Everything else is fully electronic. So technically this transmission is electronic with a shift lever. Whatever. All right, let me get the rest of this back together. Okay, so we're back in the Fusion, and let me start it up. I felt it misfiring. It definitely felt it misfiring. It was not smooth. I'm going to take it for a ride anyway, just to see. Fan, I got to lower the fan, it's too high. But I want to show you something. Shifter's not doing that weird thing. Let's go in, because the code would not clear before. Oops. Let's go out of that vehicle history. Alright, so EcoBoost. unfortunately, I got a funny feeling this thing's going to have a head gasket issue. I've seen too many of these things do that. What? Invalid database? What the heck does that even mean? That's weird. I'm going to have to tell my Snap-on guy that. Let's do this. Let's go to scanner. Let's go to Fjord. Contact customer support. I don't know what happened there. Alright, that's awesome. Let's restart this thing just in case. It's funny, I was just actually speaking or texting with one of my Facebook friends who lives in Norway, and he found me through YouTube. And we were talking about cars and computer glitches and stuff like that. And, well, there it was, a computer glitch. Hang on one second. No, I find that kind of funny, though. So, James, you and I were just talking about that, how your car had the issue with the emissions thing, and then no codes. And we're kind of curious as to why things happen and why they don't set codes. And, well, here you go. This computer just had a wig out moment. So what it was, who knows. But things happen. Alright, so it says code's cleared. Let's go to pending. No codes. Go to memory. No codes. Okay. So, we're good with that. Yep, it's in reverse. It's in drive. Okay. Well, let's take it for a ride and see what she does. But I got a funny feeling we're going to have a problem with the head gasket there. I've seen it too many times. But you never know. Could be something different. So, alright, let's go for a road test. Alright, so I'm on a road test, and it's got a definite misfire, and it's ignition related. Yeah, it's definitely ignition related. It's like you feel it going, as it's going up the road. So, hopefully this thing doesn't have a head gasket issue. The last few that I've seen with misfires have all been head gasket related. So, let's go up the road here. Of course, I'm not going to accelerate very hard with these vehicles in front of me. I am going to have to pull over here for a minute, though. I'm just going to pull over here and wait for them to get up the road a little ways. I'm not shaking. It's yeah. Well, all the codes are cleared out of it, so it's misfiring like a bugger right now. But the thing is, it has that overheat code too, or it had the overheat code. I cleared everything out of it. All right, let me get back to shop and see what happens. All right, so I'm back in the shop now. Now, cylinder 4 was showing 288 misfires on that last road test there. And right now, since I shut it off and restarted it, it cycled back to 0. But it seems to be cylinder 4 that's creating the issue. Cylinder 4 was the same one I had on that video that I showed you where I put the Borescope down the cylinder and I had coolant in it. So what I think what I'm going to do is, it's the end of the day now, I think I'm going to pull the plugs out. And I'm going to pull the plugs out and I'm going to let it sit overnight and see if I wind up with coolant in the cylinder, because then I can check it with the Borescope in the morning. So it's the next day. I had the thing sitting inside overnight. Pulled the plugs out. Cylinder 4, the plug actually looks good. Cylinder 1, however, looked like this. that's one. That's 4. This is the cylinder with the misfire. Now, remember I was saying something about a head gasket? Oh, hang on one second. So I took my trusty little Calvan tool here, this one, Borescope. This hooks into my phone through Wi-Fi, or it's its own Wi-Fi, and it's a Borescope. So I went down into cylinder 4 first to look at that because, like I said, it's been sitting overnight. And I've always found these to leak internally when they're sitting overnight when you have a head gasket issue. So I'm going to add the video to this video, the video that I just took with my little Calvan thing, because I can record that on my phone. It has no sound or anything. It's like a 1 minute long video. So I'm going to include that here right now. And as you can see in that video, cylinder 4 is coolant in it. So this thing has an issue. Now these coils actually don't look old. So we're going to be doing a head gasket or something along those lines. And then I'm going to be putting a set of plugs in it. What I'm going to probably do then also is take the coils and swap them around just so I don't have cylinder 4 in the same spot. I want to see if the misfire changes, if it still has a misfire. So obviously that misfire is not from coolant, it's an ignition misfire, I'm telling you that right now. But if you look at these coils too, these coils don't look, oh, why is my phone freaking out? These coils don't look all that old. And they're definitely not burnt, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, there's the plugs. That's some oil that was in the tube there where the spark plug sits, but you could definitely see. I don't know why the heck my phone's freaking out. I have to look into that. But yeah, so 3 of the plugs are fine. So that's going to end this video for right now. You know, what exactly is going on, I do not know. So, but we're going to wind up pulling the head off on this as long as we get the approval. So, all right. Well, there you go. Hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.